Hello, and thank you for having me. Whoa, Gina, talking about the truth will set you free. And the reason why we're here together is really to be able to raise these funds for Ukraine, a country that is fighting still for its freedom. My heritage is Ukrainian, and the story that I want to share with you tonight is really about that connection to our soul and that which continues on what Gina was talking about what really does set us free and bring us back to love. Moja dziewczyna, moja любов, moja serce, ja kochаю тебе. My girl, my love, my heart, I love you. When I was first born, she spoke to me. Wrapped in her gaze and her in mine, she whispered to me of my destiny. Until the age of 6, my mother spoke only Ukrainian to me, and my dad spoke only English. In my home, I was fluent in both, my mother's tongue and my father's language. Then it was time to start school, where my world expanded. New people, new communities, new life lessons, new languages. I was in a Ukrainian bilingual school until grade 6. I kept learning Ukrainian in school, but my mom started to speak less and less Ukrainian at home. By the time I was in high school, I rarely spoke Ukrainian. But on Sundays, we would go to church. Добрий день, баба and Dido. Добрий день, Julianna. My grandparents and I greeting each other, good day. And then they would inevitably continue asking me questions and speaking to me in Ukrainian, and I would do my best to respond back with those questions in my mother tongue. I knew it was rude not to respond in the language you're spoken in. But my grammar was a mess and my words were all over, and I would apologize for the loss of my mother tongue. I felt shy and a bit ashamed about it. And they would smile, loving me for having held on to it at all, knowing how far from the mother country we are. It was like for a moment my words carried them home and planted a seed of hope. And then I traveled to Ukraine when I was older, with my broken language, and there, fully immersed in the community of those who spoke my mother tongue, in a place where I was able to use it all the time, it came back quickly, like I'd never been lost. This is how it works with our mother tongue. Even when you start to dream in a language that is not the one you were born with, or is the one you were born with, you never lose it. And the same goes with love. Love. This is our universal mother tongue. Almost in the same way that my native language became broken, so did my universal tongue of love. The more that I met the foreign languages of the world, the languages of fear and doubt and comparison and judgment and greed and competition, the harder it became to speak and express in this language of love. And in the same way that I returned to my mother tongue is how I returned to love. I decided I wanted to. I used it even and especially when it felt uncomfortable, awkward, weird, or inconvenient. I took myself to places and created experiences where love was the only language that could be expressed, and I returned there every day. Little by little, I began to hear, see, and speak in this universal mother tongue again. It had felt like so long since I had really expressed this pure language of love. Had I ever really spoken it at all? But my mother, she keeps reminding me of the first moment she met me. It was only love. My mother's words to me have always been, "Це твоя доля." Go to your destiny. These words confused me most of the time. They felt big, too big. What is my destiny? And then, in the most ordinary of moments, sitting in my home alone on a Sunday, birds chirping outside my window, sun beaming on me, it comes. My destiny, our destiny, is love. It's always love. It's always been love. Me, любов. We are love. And as I rest in those final words, I'm brought to an experience that I had last week at a Ukrainian Orthodox camp, summer camp that my kids were at. And I was volunteering in the kitchen all week. And nearly half of this camp were Ukrainian evacuees, the children and the counselors. And being in that space of witnessing these children, some of them not with their parents, some of them no longer having their parents, some of them from parts of Ukraine that have already been overtaken by Russia, some of them not knowing when they'll see their father again or their boyfriends or whomever. And watching them at the beginning of the camp, feeling a little bit uncertain, still a bit of hope in there, some of them without the proper things to be able to sleep with, and the way that the community came together to bring them what they needed. And the way that the rest of the children, the campers, all of us were able to raise that Ukrainian flag every day, to sing in the song that is the song that they know, to be able to remind them of their own voice, and to be able to watch how by them continuing to be surrounded by this element of story, of song, of friendship, how it brought them back home to themselves, home to this place of love. And I looked upon them one day in a circle as they sat around singing their evening song, their evening prayer of friendship, of love, of union. And I thought to myself, this is what healing looks like. So I thank you, Navi and Katie, for creating what you've created here, and for everybody that's shown up and donated, knowing that our voice and our efforts and our love makes a difference. Thank you.